The House will come to order. Prayer by the chaplain.
In whatever tradition you are rooted in, I invite you to come together in a pause and a breath. Great wisdom elder God, in the powder keg of power and politics, bring to this space stillness. In the corrosive grip of pride and division, bring to this space humility. In your loving presence of perspective, strip away the titles, the strategies, the battle lines we get used to drawing, and instead restore our memory, not to who we have become, but to who we once were. Guide us back to the child we all used to be, the child who dreamed of making the world better, the child who felt deeply and saw the world with unlimited curiosity, the child who did not readily see enemies, just people. And help us to remember the earth angels you sent to us during that time of childhood, who shaped us into the better nature of our angels, as President Lincoln said. The teacher or the coach who inspired us, the grandparent who showed us kindness, the friend who stood by us when we felt alone. Let their faces and voices rise again in our hearts right now, helping us to reclaim that inner child before ambition hardened us, before fear made us reactive and power made us blind. Help us to see one another in this room not as rivals, but as the innocent child we all still hold in our hearts. A child that was shaped by her own stories or his own pivotal people or their own moments of pain and hope. God of new vision, break through the walls that we have built and empower us to embrace an expansive third way, where serving the common good does not start in debates and deals, but in the heart, where compassion and compromise are defined not as weaknesses, but strengths that build better communities and cities for our constituents, where the courage to listen, understand, and work together is what makes leaders great. So soften our childlike hearts, Holy One. Reignite that innocent child spark of who we all once were, and let that light guide us forward as elected civil servants of Minnesota, reminding us that the greatest legacy we can leave is one of healing and unity, not harm and division. It is in your name and your hope and your vision we say this prayer. Amen.
Members, the chaplain for today is Reverend Amanda Luneman from Grace United Methodist Church in Burnsville, Minnesota. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. The clerk pro tem will take the roll.
Or someone else.
The clerk pro tem will close the roll. Members, a quorum is present. We will proceed to the election of Speaker of the House. Nominations are in order. I recognize Representative Baker from District 16B for the purpose of a nomination on behalf of the Republican caucus.
Mr. Secretary and members of the Minnesota House, it's great to see everybody back again. Today we stand at such an important moment in our history. The importance of selecting our very own presiding officer and the vital role of the Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives. While recent weeks have tested us all, today is a day that we come together, that we move forward, and that we restore the work of the People's House. As we consider the next Speaker, we must ask ourselves, what kind of skills does this leader need to be successful? I believe true leadership must impose civility and trust, wisdom and inclusiveness, patience with grace. A leader must be tough but fair, strong yet willing to listen, decisive, yet collaborative. But above all, this leader needs to unify a divided house. Today, our voters expect this from every single one of us. We must work in a bipartisan manner like we have never done before. This will test the leadership's skills on every level in the next couple years. Members, it is for this reason that I am proud to nominate Lisa Demuth for the Speaker of the Minnesota House. At this critical juncture in our state's history, Speaker Demuth is the leader that we really need. A leader who can bring people together, build consensus, and ensure that every decision that we make here reflects the best interests of more Minnesotans than we have ever seen before. Members, I ask you today to join me in nominating Lisa Demuth for our next Speaker of the Minnesota House. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Are there any seconds to the nomination? I recognize Representative Igo from District 7A.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Esteemed colleagues and fellow Minnesotans, it is my honor and privilege today to stand before you to second the nomination of Representative Lisa Demuth, whose leadership, experience, and unwavering dedication to our state make her the perfect candidate to serve as the next Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives. I would like to share a quote from history with the body and the people of Minnesota. A leader is someone who shows others how to live with virtue, not by commanding, but by example. That is the type of leader Representative Demuth is. She's a leader with experience, integrity, vision, and the ability to bring people together. Representative Demuth possesses all of these qualities, and she excels at bringing balance to the work we do here in the Minnesota House. She has a clear vision for a better Minnesota, a Minnesota that we make more affordable, safe, and build for our future. Yet, at the same time, she knows how to build consensus, ensuring that all voices are heard and respected. In today's polarized political environment, now is the time we need a leader like Representative Demuth who can navigate these complexities and move Minnesota forward. Lisa's leadership is also marked by a remarkable balance between listening and acting. She listens to the concerns of her colleagues, the voices of the people she represents, and she works tirelessly to translate those concerns into meaningful legislative action. And perhaps, most importantly, she knows how to lead boldly, taking a stand on key issues while remaining open to collaboration and compromise when necessary. In a time when we need someone who can unite, not divide, who can lead with purpose, not partisanship, and who will keep the needs of everyday Minnesotans front and center, there's no better choice than Representative Lisa Dameth. Her vision and message for Minnesota is one where all of us, from the Iron Range to the farmlands, from the suburbs to the cities, can thrive together. Her leadership will bring us closer to that vision, and I have no doubt with her at the helm, the Minnesota House can be a place of progress, collaboration, and meaningful change. Representative Lisa Dameth is a leader who understands that the path forward often requires balance, balancing boldness with collaboration, leadership with humility, and vision with pragmatism. A leader that shows others how to live by virtue. So with great pride and confidence, I second the nomination of Representative Lisa Dameth to be the next Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives, and I have no doubt that she will lead with the wisdom, integrity, and balance that all Minnesotans deserve. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
I now recognize Representative Moeller from District 40A on behalf of the DFL caucus for the purpose of a nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary and members. I rise to nominate Melissa Hortman to be the Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives. For new members, you may not know that Speaker Hortman often talks in football metaphors. It's also Super Bowl weekend, so this feels appropriate for this speech today. Speaker Hortman has been an all-star quarterback for this team, for this chamber, and for the state of Minnesota since 2019. Before even becoming Speaker, she reviewed her tape, listening to Minnesotans across the state to develop the Minnesota Values Plan, MVP. Over the years, she's continued to review that tape by knocking on countless doors to listen to the concerns and dreams of Minnesotans from every corner of this state. Speaker Hortman huddles with the people to craft a game plan to advance Minnesota, always thinking about creating a level playing field for everyone. Over the past 6 years, she has assessed the obstacles on the field, and in spite of those obstacles, still throws a perfect pass to progress. Last night, I went back and listened to her acceptance speech as Speaker in 2019. And using football terminology as she does, she said, quote, "It's time to take off the blue and red jerseys and govern as Team Minnesota." And she has done exactly that. The challenges she has led our team through have been numerous and difficult, and include a global pandemic, the murder of George Floyd, and civic unrest. She had the grit to push us through every fourth and goal moment we faced, and through it all, our team, Team Minnesota, has come out stronger and better. Melissa Hortman has also been a coach to us. As the true leader that she is, she understands that success is a team sport. She knows how to build a roster of talent and coach us to be our best, always reminding us that the people we represent matter the most. She recognizes the well-executed play, like the behind-the-scenes moments when we help a constituent, and the major victories that we've had improving people's lives. Speaker Hortman, I will never forget celebrating together the passage of driver's licenses for all, with tears streaming down our faces as we witnessed the pure joy of those who fought so long for that needed legislation. At the rostrum, Speaker Hortman has played the role of a referee. She recognizes that our work, like football, is a messy game. However, she ensures that we play inside the lines drawn on the field. That means staying true to our Constitution, the rules, and custom and usage. In the time of chaos and destruction at the federal level, we need a fair referee like Speaker Hortman leading us in this chamber, someone who upholds the Constitution, the institution, and our democracy. Finally, as the true leader that she is, she puts the needs of the team, Team Minnesota, ahead of her own. When Representative Mary Murphy nominated Speaker Hortman in 2019, she said that a good speaker should put the state's needs ahead of her personal needs. In guiding us through this current time, when the goalposts keep moving, Speaker Hortman is willing to sacrifice her position for the greater good. Isn't that the kind of leader we all need? This may be a Hail Mary, but it's time to hand the ball to our quarterback, Speaker Hortman, to keep moving forward for progress in Minnesota. Thank you.
Are there any seconds to the nomination? I recognize Representative Hollins from District 66B.
Thank you. And thank you to the body. I don't know football very well, so I'm not going to follow that line of metaphors. But I rise to second the nomination of Melissa Hortman for Speaker of the Minnesota State House. I am getting to an age where I've started to think a lot about leadership and about what leadership means to me and how to be a good leader. And certain things come to mind. It means passing along knowledge and skills to cultivate new leaders. It means not just telling people what to do, but bringing others along with you as you move. And it means sacrificing your own personal benefit for the good of many. I came to this body knowing almost nothing about the legislative process. And I feel like I have learned so much from Speaker Hortman. She's been willing to share her knowledge, her experience. She's included me in spaces that she didn't have to, just so I could witness and I could learn and become a better legislator and a better leader. Being a part of the leadership team and seeing how the proverbial sausage is made has been an experience of a lifetime. It has given me such an appreciation for the magnitude of the work that we do in this space and the sacrifices that are made by every person in this body to come together and make 134 people agree on something. That is no small feat. I know that Speaker Hortman and I are not necessarily politically aligned all the time. And that hasn't stopped us from being able to work together. And I think that's something that's really important. A leader knows that you are not always going to see eye to eye, but you're going to bring people along with you. You're going to make sacrifices. You're going to make deals. You're going to figure out a move forward if it's for the betterment of the people. And she has been willing to do that. She's been willing to have conversations with me about why what I think is too radical and also why my techniques or strategies might be too unorthodox. And I appreciate that. It's made me a better leader. It's made me a better person. Finally, I think we can all agree, this caucus can agree, that giving up something that you really want for the good of many is incredibly important in a leader. And I got to witness that this past week, something that I think most people would not be able to do. I witnessed Melissa Hortman give up something that she really wanted for the good of our caucus, for the good of your caucus, for the good of the people of the state of Minnesota, and for the good of this very institution. I don't know how anybody could be a better leader than making that sacrifice. And it's because of that that I stand here today, fully in support, and I hope you all will join me in supporting Melissa Hortman as the next Speaker of the House. Thank you.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? If not, I declare nominations closed. The two nominated candidates for Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives are Representative Demuth and Representative Hortman. The Clerk Pro Tem will call the roll on the election of Speaker.
Acom. Acom Hortman. Agbaje. Agbaje Hortman. Allen. Allen Demuth. Altendorf. Altendorf Demuth. Anderson P.E. Anderson P.E. Demuth. Anderson P.H. Anderson, P.H. Damuth. Backer. Backer, Damuth. Boehner. Bonner, sorry. Bonner, Hortman. Bakeberg. Bakeberg, Damuth. Baker. Baker votes Damuth. Bennett. Bennett votes Damuth. Berg. Berg, Hortman. Bierman. Bierman, Hortman. Bliss. Bliss, Damuth. Burkle. Burkle, Damuth. Carroll. Carroll, Hortman. Chaw. Chaw, Hortman. Clardy. Clardy, Hortman. Coulter. Coulter, Hortman. Curran. Curran, Hortman. Davids. Davids, Damuth. Davis. Davis votes Damuth. Damuth. Damuth votes Damuth. DePel. DePel votes Damuth. Dotseth. Dotseth votes Damuth. Duran. Duran votes Damuth. Elkins. Elkins votes Hortman. Engen. Engen votes Damuth. Falconer. Falconer, Hortman. Feist. Feist, Hortman. Finke. Fisher. Fisher votes Hortman. Fogelman. Fogelman, votes Damuth. Franzen. Franzen votes Damuth. Frazier. Frazier votes Hortman. Frederick. Frederick votes Hortman. Freiberg. Freiberg votes Hortman. Gander. Gander votes Damuth. Gilman. Gilman, Damuth. Gomez. Gomez, Hortman. Gordon. Gordon votes Damuth. Green. Green votes Hortman. Greenman. Greenman, Hortman. Hanson R. Hanson R. Hortman. Hanson J. Hanson J. Hortman. Harder. Harder votes Damuth. Heinzman. Heinzman votes Damuth. Hemmingson Yeager. Hemmingson Yeager Hortman. Her. Hortman. Hicks. Hicks Hortman. Hill. Hill Hortman. Hiltsley. Hiltsley Hortman. Hollins. Hollins Hortman. Hortman. Hortman votes Hortman. Howard. Howard votes Hortman. Hudson. Hudson votes Damuth. Hewitt. Hewitt votes Hortman. Hussein. Hussein votes Hortman. Igo. Igo votes Damuth. Jacob. Jacob votes Damuth. Johnson P. Johnson P. Hortman. Johnson W. Johnson W. Damuth. Jones. Jones votes Hortman. Jordan. Jordan votes Hortman. Joy. Joy votes Damuth. Keeler. Keeler votes Hortman. Cleavorn. Cleavorn votes Hortman. Knutson. Knutson votes Damuth. Cagle. Cagle votes Hortman. Katiza Watun. Katiza Watun votes Hortman. Kozlowski. Kozlowski votes Hortman. Kosnick. Kosnick votes Damuth. Kraft. Kraft votes Hortman. Krisha. Krisha votes Damuth. Lawrence. Lawrence votes Dameth. Lee F. Lee F votes Hortman. Lee K. Lee K votes Hortman. Liebling. Liebling votes Hortman. Lilly. Lilly votes Hortman. Long. Long votes Hortman. Mahamud. Mahamud Hortman. McDonald. McDonald votes Dameth. Mecklen votes Dameth. Mueller. Mueller votes Hortman. Mueller. Mueller votes Dameth. Murphy. Murphy votes Dameth. Myers. Myers votes Dameth. Nadeau. Nadeau votes Dameth. Nash. Nash votes Dameth. Nelson. Nelson votes Dameth. Niska. Niska votes Dameth. Noor. Noor votes Hortman. Norris. Norris votes Hortman. Novotny. Novotny votes Dameth. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll votes Dameth. Olson. Olson votes Dameth. Perez Vega. Perez Vega Hortman. Perryman. Perryman votes Dameth. Pinto. Pinto votes Hortman. Purcell. Purcell votes Hortman. Quam. Quam votes Dameth. Rarick. Rarick votes Dameth. Ream. Ream votes Hortman. Rerower. Rerower votes Hortman. Rapinski.
Rapinski votes Dameth.
Rapinski votes Dameth. Ryer. Ryer votes Hortman. Roach. Roach votes Dameth. Robbins. Robbins votes Dameth. Reimer. Reimer votes Dameth. Schumacher. Schumacher votes Dameth. Schultz. Schultz votes Dameth. Schwartz. Schwartz votes Dameth. Scott. Scott votes Dameth. Censor Murrah. Censor Murrah, Hortman. Sexton. Sexton votes Dameth. Scraba. Scraba votes Dameth. Smith. Smith votes Hortman. Stevenson. Stevenson votes Hortman. Steer. Steer votes Dameth. Swedzinski. Swedzinski votes Dameth. Tabke. Tabke votes Hortman. Torkelson. Torkelson votes Dameth. Van Binsbergen.
Van Binsbergen votes Dameth.
Van Binsbergen votes Dameth. Vang. Vang votes Hortman. Vernig. Vernig votes Hortman. Warwas. Warwas votes Dameth. West. West votes Dameth. Wiener. Wiener votes Dameth. Whitty. Whitty votes Dameth. Wolgamott. Wolgamott votes Hortman. Zhang. Zhang votes Hortman. Joachim. Joachim Hortman. Zelensnikar. Zelensnikar votes Dameth. Finke.
The results of the roll call on the election of Speaker of the House are as follows. Representative Dameth has 67 votes, and Representative Hortman has 65 votes. I therefore declare that Representative Dameth is the duly elected Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives for the 2025-2026 session. I appoint the following members to a committee to escort the Speaker-elect to the rostrum: Representatives Nash, Knudsen, and Backer. I now call on Minnesota Senate President, Senator Bobby Joe Champion, to give the oath of office to the Speaker-elect. Senator Champion.
Will you be so kind as to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to which you have just been elected to the best of your ability? So help you God.
I will.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is my great honor and privilege to present the gavel to Speaker Dameth.
You know, I look out at this chamber, and what an honor it is to stand before you and get ready to do the work that Minnesotans are counting on each one of us to do together. We know that we didn't get to this place, to this opportunity to serve alone. It took support from our families and our supporters, our voters, our community, and we don't take that for granted. We could not have done it without them. They were the ones that when we wanted to give up, sometimes they would encourage us. Most of the time they would. It is an honor, and I am absolutely humbled by the trust that you have placed in me to serve as Speaker of the House of Representatives here in Minnesota. Today I stand before you not just as a representative, but as a Minnesotan that is committed to working for the people that have sent us to this place. The significance of this great honor doesn't escape me. Today is a testament to the progress and the possibilities of our great state, and I am committed to leading with integrity, respect, and a focus on delivering real results to every Minnesotan. Our state is strongest when we embrace both the opportunity and the responsibility, and I'm ready to work with all of my colleagues to ensure that government is accountable, that our communities are safe, and every family has the chance to thrive. To my colleagues in this chamber, thank you for your service and your dedication to your constituents. While we might not always agree, we do share the responsibility to govern, not as partisans, but as public servants. The people of Minnesota have given us a unique opportunity with this closely divided House. They expect us to rise above the politics and to find solutions together and to prove that government can and will work for them. Minnesotans are counting on us, not for political theater or ideological victories, but for real results that will improve the daily lives. They want safer communities. We know that Minnesotans want strong schools. Minnesotans want economic opportunities and a government that is efficient and accountable. They're expecting us to listen, to collaborate, and to deliver. And that is exactly what I intend to do as Speaker. With balance in this chamber, it comes with an opportunity to lead differently. We must set a tone of cooperation and civility. That means keeping government accountable and ensuring every taxpayer dollar is spent wisely. It means recognizing some of our greatest challenges, whether it is workforce shortages, infrastructure needs, support for our farmers, or public safety that transcends public lines. As Speaker, I will foster a culture of respect and constructive debate in this House. We can agree without being disagreeable. We can debate vigorously while seeking common ground. And we can prove to Minnesotans that when their leaders work together, their government will work better. I also want to assure every member in this chamber, Democrat or Republican, that my door will always be open. I want to welcome your ideas, your concerns, and your input. Let's use this moment to show that what is possible when we govern with purpose, what is possible when we govern with integrity and a shared commitment to Minnesota's future. So let's focus on what will actually unite us. That's a love for this great state and a desire to leave it better than we have all found it. If we stay focused on that shared purpose, there's nothing that we can't accomplish together. Thank you again for this tremendous responsibility. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and get to work, side by side, with each one of you. We need to do that for the future of Minnesota. So God bless you, and may God bless our great state of Minnesota. Representative Niska offers the following resolution relating to temporary rules as modified by the agreement for the House organization dated February 6, 2025. The Clerk Pro Tem will report the resolution.
Niska offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Be it resolved that the temporary rules of the House for this session, the 94th regular session, shall be the same as the permanent rules of the House for the 93rd regular session, as adopted by the House of Representatives on February 2nd, 2023, and are hereby adopted as the temporary rules of this House for the 94th session, subject to the modifications contained in the agreement for House organization dated February 6th, until such time as the House has adopted new permanent rules.
There are copies of the resolution on each of your desks. I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Niska, to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, members. As we are all aware, this is the result of a long bipartisan negotiation process. There are some provisions in this agreement that I guarantee every one of us 133 members agree with, and some provisions that every one of us in this would prefer to be different. Our caucus, many of the members of our caucus would prefer that the election contest provisions were different, and I'm sure we could all, each one of us, find issues within this agreement that we would prefer that were written differently. But the people of Minnesota need us to get to work together. And this resolution is an agreement signed by the caucus leaders of both parties, by the negotiators of both parties, in order to provide a framework for us to move together to get the work of the people done that we need to work on together. And for that reason, I urge its support. Thank you.
Is there any discussion on the motion? I recognize the member from Hennepin, Representative Long.
Thank you. Members, I encourage support of the adoption of the temporary rules as well as the co-governing agreement. The temporary rules are the same as the rules that we adopted last session. The agreement as well honors the voters of our state by preserving power sharing when no party has a numerical majority. The co-governing agreement also prevents any party from unilaterally trying to remove a member in an election contest. The agreement protects power sharing on committees, including requiring bipartisan votes for all bills coming out of committee. The agreement ensures a bipartisan negotiation on House rules. The agreement protects conference committees by ensuring equal bipartisan membership. And we are optimistic that this framework will set up opportunities for members to work together on a bipartisan basis to address real issues for Minnesotans on affordable housing, healthcare, childcare, and much more. I urge our members' support.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the Clerk Pro Tem will take the roll. The Clerk Pro Tem will close the roll. There being 130 ayes and 2 nays, the temporary rules are adopted. The next order of business is the election of the chief clerk. I recognize Representative Robbins from District 37A for the purpose of a nomination.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to nominate Patrick Duffy Murphy to be the Chief Clerk of the Minnesota House of Representatives. We have all come to know and love Chief Clerk Murphy. He is a lifetime resident of St. Paul, and he lives in the north end of Como Park neighborhood in St. Paul with his son, Jorge, who is a legislative clerk for the Chief Clerk's office, and who could not be more proud of his dad. He graduated from the University of St. Thomas in 1977 with a degree in journalism. Pat is starting his 47th year of service to the Minnesota House of Representatives. He started here as a page in the front office of the Chief Clerk's office in 1978. So that means he was maybe the only person who lived through the previous tie and is still serving today. Thank you for that, Patrick. We appreciate your wise counsel in this time. He was promoted to the front desk position of the House Journal editor in January of 1981. And from there, he was elected by the House to the position of First Assistant Chief Clerk in 2005, 2007, 2009, 2011, and 2013. He was elected to the Chief Clerk of the House position in 2015, 2017, 2019, 2021, and 2023. As Chief Clerk, Pat serves as a parliamentary advisor and provides support and guidance through the legislative process, not only to the Speaker, but also to the members and the staff of the House. Another key role that Pat and his team play in helping provide continuity and stability for the House as an institution. Pat, along with his team, who he is very careful to credit at every turn, help develop the remote voting and remote debating process to do the people's business and made sure democracy continued to function during the global pandemic. Pat's passion for teaching classes on the legislative process educates many groups within our community. He is an active member of the American Society of Legislative Clerks and Secretaries, and he is a member of the YMCA Youth and Government State Board, as he has been since 2008. Orville Lundquist, the Program Executive Director of Youth and Government, says of Pat, he spends hours and hours of his own time to work with students who need assistance the most, writing bills, learning to speak in public, and working with other youth. He gives of his time, talent, and treasure. He is the architect of Youth and Government's annual promotion efforts, and he coined the phrase, the most important word in youth and government is youth. And my own personal experience of this is the same. When I'm speaking to youth in my district, the most important question I always get is, do you know Chief Clerk Murphy? He is an absolute legend with students around our state, and we can't thank you enough for all your service to the youth building the bench of leaders in Minnesota. Pat is currently the co-director of the Como Park High School and the Youth and Government Delegation. Members, Pat Murphy is a state treasure. He protects and respects the institution of the House, and he has devoted his life to ensure that the People's House truly functions in service of the citizens of the state of Minnesota. It is my great honor to nominate Patrick Duffy Murphy for Chief Clerk.
I recognize the member from 66B, Representative Hollins, to second the nomination.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is my distinct honor to second the nomination of the position of Chief Clerk of the Minnesota House. To my esteemed colleague, my constituent, my fellow Tommy alum, and friend, Patrick Duffy Murphy. I think most of you know Pat Murphy at this point, and if you don't, Representative Robbins just did a fantastic job of talking about him. His service to this institution predates all of our elections and some of our lifetimes. So Pat is starting his 47th year of service to the Minnesota House of Representatives, which I think is remarkable. I feel like as a millennial, I've struggled to stay in one job for 5 years, but you've stayed here for 47, which is incredible. You've heard a lot about what the chief clerk does, and I want to tell new members that Pat and his whole front desk staff are a wealth of information regarding the body of the House and the legislative process and procedure. If you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out to them and ask them for their support and information. They are happy to walk you through anything that you need. But Pat is so much more than just the chief clerk. During the past 4 years, I have been privileged to witness his engagement with youth and young people. He is passionate about youth in government, and as Representative Robbins mentioned, he is on the board working with the youth in government. He has created several of the youth in government programs within the state of Minnesota, and specifically the city of St. Paul, which is really important because the city of St. Paul often gets overlooked. Our communities have less wealth, and they don't get to participate in as many things that other kids do. And so Pat Murphy coming into the schools and helping those kids be engaged is so important and so vital. He started 3 youth government delegations in St. Paul, including one in my district at Como Park Senior High. So he is especially beloved in my district. And he's not a hands-off kind of guy. His passion for the legislature and government is infectious. I have watched high schoolers absolutely light up and become so inspired by his words and coaching. These students research and debate real-world issues that are important to them and learn how to organize their ideas in a way that is clear and persuasive. And maybe more importantly, they learn how to be civically engaged. Truly, Pat Murphy is helping to raise the next generation of lawmakers, and I think that is absolutely something worth recognizing. Finally, Pat is perhaps the strongest institutionalist I have ever met in my entire life. This place, these hallowed halls, mean more to him than I think any of us will ever understand. He has watched these seats empty and fill and empty and fill, majorities ebbing and flowing, remote voting, tied houses, deaths, births. He's been there through all of it, remaining steadfast, earning the trust of both sides of the aisle, and truly being dedicated to the institution of the Minnesota House. So with all that in mind, it is sincerely my honor to place the name of Patrick Duffy Murphy into nomination for Chief Clerk of the House of Representatives. Thank you.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? If not, I declare the nominations closed. The Clerk Pro Tem will call the roll on the election of Chief Clerk.
Agbadje. Acom. I'm sorry, just a second. I got a bad start. Acom. Acom Murphy. Agbadje. Agbadje Murphy. Allen. Allen votes Murphy. Altendorf. Altendorf votes Murphy. Anderson P.E. Anderson P.E. votes Murphy. Anderson P.H. Anderson P.H. votes Murphy. Backer. Backer Murphy. Bonner. Bonner Murphy. Bakeberg. Bakeberg Murphy. Baker. Baker Murphy. Bennett. Bennett Murphy. Berg. Berg Murphy. Bierman. Bierman Murphy. Bliss. Bliss Murphy. Burkle. Burkle Murphy. Carroll. Carroll Murphy. Cha. Cha Murphy. Clardy. Clardy Murphy. Coulter. Coulter Murphy. Curran. Curran Murphy. Davids. Davids Murphy. Davis. Davis Murphy. DePel. DePel Murphy. Dotseth. Dotseth Murphy. Dotseth Murphy. Duran. Duran Murphy. Elkins. Elkins Murphy. Engen. Engen Murphy. Falconer. Falconer Murphy. Feist. Feist Murphy. Finke.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
Pinky Murphy.
Finke Murphy. Fisher. Fisher Murphy. Fogelman. Fogelman Murphy. Franzen. Franzen Murphy. Frazier. Frazier Murphy. Frederick. Frederick Murphy. Freiberg. Freiberg Murphy. Gander. Gander Murphy. Gilman. Gilman Murphy. Gomez. Gomez Murphy. Gordon. Gordon Murphy. Green. Green Murphy. Greenman. Greenman Murphy. Hanson R. Hanson R. Murphy. Hanson J. Hanson J. Murphy. Harder. Harder Murphy. Heinzman. Heinzman Murphy. Hemmingson Yeager. Hemmingson Yeager Murphy. Her. Her Murphy. Hicks. Hicks Murphy. Hill. Hill Murphy. Hiltsley. Hiltsley Murphy. Hollins. Hollins Murphy. Hortman. Hortman Murphy. Howard. Howard Murphy. Hudson. Hudson Murphy. Hewitt. Hewitt Murphy. Hussein. Hussein Murphy. Igo. Igo votes Murphy. Jacob. Jacob Murphy. Johnson P. Johnson P. Murphy. Johnson W. Johnson W. Murphy. Jones. Jones Murphy. Jordan. Jordan Murphy. Joy. Joy Murphy. Keeler. Keeler Murphy. Cleavorn. Cleavorn Murphy. Knutson. Knutson Murphy. Cagle. Cagle Murphy. Katiza Watun. Katiza Watun Murphy. Kozlowski. Kozlowski votes Murphy. Kosnick. Kosnick votes Murphy. Kraft. Kraft votes Murphy. Krisha. Krisha votes Murphy. Lawrence. Lawrence votes Murphy. Lee F. Lee F votes Murphy. Lee K. Lee K votes Murphy. Liebling. Liebling votes Murphy. Lilly. Lilly votes Murphy. Long. Long votes Murphy. Mahamud. Mahamud Murphy. McDonald. McDonald Murphy. Mecklen. Mecklen votes Murphy. Moeller. Moeller votes Murphy. Mueller. Mueller votes Murphy. Murphy. Murphy votes Murphy. Myers. Myers votes Murphy. Nadeau. Nadeau votes Murphy. Nash. Nash votes Murphy. Nelson. Nelson votes Murphy. Niska. Niska votes Murphy. Knorr. Knorr votes Murphy. Norris. Norris votes Murphy. Novotny. Novotny votes Murphy. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll votes Murphy. Olson. Olson votes Murphy. Perez Vega. Perez Vega, Murphy. Perryman. Perryman votes Murphy. Pinto. Pinto votes Murphy. Purcell. Purcell votes Murphy. Quam. Quam votes Murphy. Rarick. Rarick votes Murphy. Ream. Ream votes Murphy. Rayrauer. Rayrauer votes Murphy. Rapinski. Rapinski votes Murphy. Ryer. Ryer votes Murphy. Roach. Roach votes Murphy. Robbins. Robbins votes Murphy. Reimer. Reimer votes Murphy. Schumacher. Schumacher votes Murphy. Schultz. Schultz votes Murphy. Schwartz. Schwartz votes Murphy. Scott. Scott votes Murphy. Censor Murrah. Sexton. Sexton votes Murphy. Scraba. Scraba votes Murphy. Smith. Smith votes Murphy. Stevenson. Stevenson votes Murphy. Steer. Steer votes Murphy. Swedzinski. Swedzinski votes Murphy. Tabke. Tabke votes Murphy. Torkelson. Torkelson votes Murphy. Van Binsbergen. Van Binsbergen votes Murphy. Vang. Thank you. Vang votes Murphy. Vernig. Vernig votes Murphy. Warwas. Warwas votes Murphy. West.
West votes Murphy.
West votes Murphy. Wiener. Wiener votes Murphy. Whitty. Whitty votes Murphy. Wolgamott. Wolgamott votes Murphy. Zhang. Zhang votes Murphy. Joachim. Joachim Murphy. Zeliznikar. Zeliznikar votes Murphy. Speaker Damath. Murphy. Speaker Damath votes Murphy. Censor Mira.
Censor Murrah votes Murphy.
Censor Murrah votes Murphy.
There being 133 ayes and 0 nays, Patrick Duffy Murphy has been elected Chief Clerk. Will the Chief Clerk-elect please come forward and take the oath of office? Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to which you have just been elected to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do. Thank you.
Congratulations. Representative Niska offers the following resolution on election of the other officers. The chief clerk will read the resolution.
NISC offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Resolved that the election of other officers, with the exception of the Chief Sergeant at Arms, be made retroactive to January 15, 2025 on one roll call unless there should be more than one nomination for any office.
I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, this is a pretty self-explanatory resolution. We're just trying to get the rest of the front desk staff and the other assistant sergeants elected in a timely way and make it retroactive as is necessary at this point. So I urge members to support.
Is there any discussion to the resolution? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Niska, who will make a series of nominations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I nominate the following as elected officers. First Assistant Chief Clerk Stephanie Miller. Second Assistant Chief Clerk Kathy Carlson. Assistant Sergeant at Arms Erica Brindleson. Assistant Sergeant at Arms Andrew Olson. And Index Clerk Carl Hamry.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? If not, I declare the nominations closed. The chief clerk will call the roll on the election of the other officers. You may vote by saying slate if you desire.
Acom. Acom, slate. Agbadje. Agbadje, slate. Allen. Allen, slate. Altendorf. Altendorf, slate. Anderson, P.E. Anderson, P.E., slate. Anderson, P.H. Anderson, P.H., slate. Backer. Backer, slate. Bonner. Bonner, slate. Bakeberg. Bakeberg, slate. Baker. Baker, slate. Bennett. Bennett, slate. Berg. Berg, slate. Bierman. Bierman, slate. Bliss. Bliss, slate. Burkle. Burkle, slate. Carroll. Carroll, slate. Chaw. Chaw, slate. Clardy. Clardy, slate. Coulter. Coulter, slate. Karen. Curran, slate. Davids. Davids, slate. Davis. Davis, slate. DePel. DePel, slate. Dotseth. Dotseth, slate. Duran. Duran, slate. Elkins. Elkins, slate. Ingen. Ingen, slate. Falconer. Falconer, slate. Feist. Feist, slate. Finke.
Finke, slate.
Finke, slate. Fisher. Fisher, slate. Fogelman. Fogelman, slate. Franson. Franzen, slate. Frazier. Frazier, slate. Frederick. Frederick, slate. Freiberg. Freiberg, slate. Gander. Gander, slate. Gilman. Gilman, slate. Gomez. Gomez, slate. Gordon. Gordon, slate. Green. Green, slate. Greenman. Greenman, slate. Hanson, R. Hanson, R, slate. Hanson, J. Hanson, J, slate. Harder. Harder, slate. Heinzman. Heinzman, slate. Hemmingson, Yeager. Hemmingson, Yeager, slate. Her. Her, slate. Hicks. Hicks, slate. Hill. Hill, slate. Hiltsley. Hiltsley, slate. Hollins. Hollins, slate. Hortman. Hortman, slate. Howard. Howard, slate. Hudson. Hudson, slate. Hewitt. Hewitt, slate. Hussein. Hussein, slate. Igo. Igo, slate. Jacob. Jacob, slate. Johnson, P. Johnson, P, slate. Johnson, W. Johnson, W, slate. Jones. Jones, slate. Jordan. Jordan, slate. Joy. Joy, slate. Keeler. Keeler, slate. Cleavorn. Cleavorn, slate. Knutson. Knutson, slate. Cagle. Cagle, slate. Katiza Watun. Katiza Watun, slate. Kozlowski. Kozlowski, slate. Kosnick. Kosnick, slate. Kraft. Kraft, slate. Creshaw. Creshaw, slate. Lawrence. Lawrence, slate. Lee F. Lee F, slate. Lee K. Lee K, slate. Liebling. Liebling, slate. Lilly. Lilly, slate. Long. Long, slate. Mahamud. Mahamud, slate. McDonald. McDonald, slate. Mecklin. Mecklin, slate. Moeller. Moeller, slate. Mueller. Mueller, slate. Murphy. Murphy, slate. Myers. Myers, slate. Nadeau. Nadeau, slate. Nash. Nash, slate. Nelson. Nelson, slate. Niska. Niska, slate. Noor. Noor, slate. Norris. Norris, slate. Novotny. Novotny, slate. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll, slate. Olson. Olson, slate. Perez Vega. Perez Vega, slate. Perryman. Perryman, slate. Pinto. Pinto, slate. Purcell. Purcell, slate. Quam. Quam, slate. Rarick. Rarick, slate. Ream. Ream, slate. Rayrauer. Rayrauer, slate. Rapinski. Rapinski, slate. Ryer. Ryer, slate. Roach. Roach, slate. Robbins. Robbins, slate. Reimer. Reimer, slate. Schumacher. Schumacher, slate. Schultz. Schultz, slate. Schwartz. Schwartz, slate. Scott. Scott, slate. Sensor Murrah.
Go ahead.
Sensor Murrah votes slate.
Sensor Murrah, slate. Sexton. Sexton, slate. Scraba. Scraba, slate. Smith. Smith, Slate. Stevenson. Stevenson, Slate. Steer. Steer, Slate. Swazinski. Swazinski, Slate. Tabke. Tabke, Slate. Torkelson. Torkelson, Slate. Van Binsberg in. Van Binsberg in, Slate. Vang. Vang, Slate. Vernig. Vernig, Slate. Warwas. Warwas, Slate. West. West, Slate. Wiener. Wiener, Slate. Whitty. Whitty, Slate. Wolgamott. Wolgamott, Slate. Zhang. Zhang, Slate. Joachim. Joachim, Slate. Zalesnikar. Zalesnikar, Slate. Speaker Damath. Speaker Damath, Slate.
A majority of members elected having voted for Slate, I therefore declare those nominated have been duly elected. Will you please? Please raise your right hand as you take the oath of office. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to which you have just been elected to the best of your ability, so help you God? Congratulations. The next order of business is the election of the Chief Sergeant at Arms. I recognize Representative Nash from District 48A for the purpose of a nomination.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to enter the name of Lori Hodap into consideration for the Chief Sergeant at Arms. I will be brief, but as my constituent, I am proud to nominate her. A little bit of history on Lori for those that have not met her or don't know her. 3 generations of law enforcement. That is a long time of public service. And as a state patrol officer and airport cop, she has served faithfully our state. And as I'd said earlier when we had done this once before, my friend Bob Meyerson had pulled me aside when he had announced his retirement. After we tried to talk him out of that and that failed, he said, "You'll love Lori and she's going to do a great job." And I said, "Well, we'll be the judge of that." But she has done a very fine job. She has a great team around her, and their job is to keep things in order, including me from time to time when I get out of line. But she has been a fantastic addition to our chamber and does an excellent job of keeping us safe here at the Capitol. So, Madam Speaker, it is my pleasure to enter the name of Lori Hodap for Chief Sergeant at Arms.
I recognize Representative Moeller from District 40A to second the nomination.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I second the nomination of Lori Hodap for Sergeant at Arms. When I think about Lori Hodap, I think about the sport of baseball. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that again. But seriously, when I do think about Lori Hodap and her team, I'm filled with the gratitude for the professionalism and character of our entire security team. They constantly go the extra mile to keep us all safe. Lori Hodap and her team take our concerns seriously, and they are always looking for ways to improve the security for all of us and all of those who enter this building. It's our duty to listen to them and follow their advice when they identify areas where we need improvement. And as Representative Nash said, she really does have a ton of great experience, but her whole team has so much collective experience and wisdom to share with all of us, so thank you. Again, thank you to Lori and her team for their great work, and please join me in supporting Lori Hodap as Sergeant at Arms.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? If not, I declare the nominations closed. The Chief Clerk will call the roll on the election of the Chief Sergeant at Arms.
Acom. Acom Hodap. Egbadje. Egbadje Hodap. Allen. Allen Hodap. Altendorf. Altendorf Hodap. Anderson P.E. Anderson P.E. Hodap. Anderson P.H. Anderson P.H. Hodap. Backer. Backer Hodap. Bonner. Bonner Hodap. Bakeberg. Bakeberg Hodap. Baker. Baker Hodap. Bennett. Bennett Hodap. Berg. Berg Hodap. Bierman. Bierman Hodap. Bliss. Bliss Hodap. Burkle. Burkle Hodap. Carroll. Carroll Hodap. Chaw. Chaw Hodap. Clardy. Clardy Hodap. Coulter. Coulter Hodap. Curran. Curran Hodap. Davids. Davids Hodap. Davis. Davis Hodap. DePel. DePel Pass. Dotseth. Dotseth Hodap. Duran. Duran Hodap. Elkins. Elkins Hodap. Engen. Engen Hodap. Falconer. Falconer Hodap. Feist. Feist Hodap. Finke. Fisher. Fisher Hodap. Fogelman. Fogelman Hodap. Franson. Franson Hodap. Frazier. Frazier Hodap. Frederick. Frederick Hodap. Freiberg. Freiberg Hodap. Gander. Gander Hodap. Gilman. Gilman Hodap. Gomez. Gomez Hodap. Gordon. Gordon Hodap. Green. Green Hodap. Greenman. Greenman Hodap. Hanson R. Hanson R. Hodap. Hanson J. Hanson J. Hodap. Harder. Harder Hodap. Heinzman. Hemmingson Yeager. Hemmingson Yeager Hodap. Her. Her Hodap. Hicks. Hicks Hodap. Hill. Hill Hodap. Hiltsley. Hiltsley Hodap. Hollins. Hollins Hodap. Hartman. Hartman Hodap. Howard. Howard Hodap. Hudson. Hudson Hodap. Hewitt. Hewitt Hodap. Hussein. Hussein Hodap. Igo. Igo Hodap. Jacob. Jacob Hodap. Johnson P. Johnson P. Hodap. Johnson W. Johnson W. Hodap. Jones. Jordan. Jordan Hodap. Joy. Joy Hodap. Keeler. Keeler Hodap. Cleavorn. Cleavorn Hodap. Knutson. Knutson Hodap. Kegel. Kegel Hodap. Katiza Watun. Katiza Watun Hodap. Kozlowski. Kozlowski Hodap. Kosnick. Kosnick Hodap. Kraft. Kraft Hodap. Kreshaw. Kreshaw Hodap. Lawrence. Lawrence Hodap. Lee F. Lee F. Hodap. Lee K. Lee K. Hodap. Liebling. Liebling Hodap. Lilly. Lilly Hodap. Long. Long Hodap. Mahamud. Mahamud Hodap. McDonald. McDonald Hodap. Mecklin. Mecklin Hodap. Moeller. Moeller Hodap. Mueller. Mueller Hodap. Murphy. Murphy Hodap. Myers. Myers Hodap. Nadeau. Nadeau Hodap. Nash. Nash Hodap. Nelson. Nelson Hodap. Niska. Niska Hodap. Noor. Noor Hodap. Norris. Norris Hodap. Novotny. Novotny Hodap. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll Hodap. Olson. Olson Hodap. Paz Vega. Paz Vega Hodap. Perryman. Perryman Hodap. Pinto. Pinto Hodap. Purcell. Purcell Hodap. Quam. Quam Hodap. Rarick. Rarick Hodap. Ream. Ream Hodap. Rayrauer. Rayrauer Hodap. Rapinski. Rapinski Hodap. Ryer. Ryer Hodap. Roach. Roach Hodap. Robbins. Robbins Hodap. Reimer. Reimer Hodap. Schumacher. Schumacher Hodap. Schultz. Schultz Hodap. Schwartz. Schwartz Hodap. Scott. Scott Hodap. Sensor Murrah. Sensor Murrah Hodap. Sexton. Sexton Hodap. Scraba. Scraba Hodap. Smith. Smith Hodap. Stevenson. Stevenson Hodap. Steer. Steer Hodap. Swazinski. Swazinski Hodap. Tabke. Tabke Hodap. Torkelson. Torkelson Hodak. Van Binsbergen. Van Binsbergen Hodap. Vang. Vang Hodap. Vernig. Vernig Hodap. Warwas. Warwas Hodap. West. West Hodap. Wiener. Wiener Hodap. Whitty. Whitty Hodap. Walgamot. Walgamot Hodap. Zhang. Zhang Hodap. Joachim. Joachim Hodap. Zaleznikar. Zaleznikar Hodap. Speaker Damath. Speaker Damath Hodap. DePel. DePel pass. Finke. Heinzman. Heinzman passed. Jones. Jones, Hodap.
There being 130 ayes and 0 nays, Lori Hodap has been elected Chief Sergeant at Arms. Would you please raise your right hand as you take the oath of office? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to which you have just been elected to the best of your ability, so help you God? Congratulations. Representative Niska offers the following resolution.
Niska offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Resolved that the chief clerk be instructed to form the Senate by message that the House is duly organized pursuant to law.
I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Niska, to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. That's my resolution informing the Senate that we are organized.
Is there any discussion to the resolution?
Sorry.
If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Representative Niska offers the following resolution.
Resolved that the Speaker appoint a committee of 5 members of the House to notify the Governor that the House of Representatives is now duly organized pursuant to law and ready to receive any message he may desire to give them.
I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Niska, to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. That's my resolution. We didn't get any bipartisan bars this year, but we kind of informed the Governor that we are duly organized.
Is there any discussion to the resolution? If not, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Announcement by the Speaker.
Announcement by the Speaker. The Speaker announces the appointment of the following members to the committee to notify the Governor that the House is now duly organized, ready to receive any message he may desire to give them. Anderson, P.H., Kosnick, Reimer, Lilly, Mahamud. The committee members just named should meet immediately in the Governor's office to notify the Governor that the House is now duly organized. The committee will then return to the House to report on their visit. There they go.
Okay. Announcement by the Speaker.
NISCA offers the following resolution and moves its adoption. Resolved that the necessary employees, as directed by the Committee on Rules and Legislative Administration, be authorized by the House, effective retroactive to January 6, 2025, to better expedite the business of the House.
Representative Niska offers the following resolution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. This is pretty self-explanatory. We're retroactively authorizing employees to January 6th, and I urge members to support.
Is there any discussion to the resolution? Since the resolution is an expenditure of money pursuant to our rules, there will be a roll call. The Chief Clerk will take the roll.
Is that Finke? Yep. Clerk will call the remote member.
The clerk will call the member voting remotely.
Finke.
The clerk will close the roll. The Chief Clerk will close the roll. There being 132 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. Announcement by the Speaker.
Announced by the Speaker. The Speaker announces the appointment of Representative Olson as Speaker Pro Tem and Representative Schultz and her as Deputy Speakers Pro Tem for the 25-26 session.
Announcement by the Speaker.
Announcement by the Speaker. The Speaker announces the appointment of the following members of the House to the Committee on Rules and Legislative Administration. Niska, Chair, Engen, Vice Chair, and Long, Jacobs, Nash, Schultz, Scott, Steer, Zalesnikar, Hollins, Coulter, Frederick, Howard, Jordan, Cagle, and Purcell.
Members, the appointment of other standing committee assignments and the new committee meeting schedule will be published in today's journal. Representative Swedzinski offers the following resolution.
Resolved that the selection of permanent desks shall be as directed by the Speaker as follows. That the Republican caucus shall occupy Sections 1, seats 1 to 19, Section 2, seats 22 to 41, and Section 3, seats 42 to 69. All members of the Republican caucus shall be seated in the manner prescribed by the Republican caucus. And 2, that the DFL caucus shall occupy Section 4, seats 70 to 97, Section 5, seats 99 to 119, and Section 6, seats 120 to 138. All members of the DFL caucus shall be seated in the manner prescribed by the DFL caucus.
I recognize the member from Lyon, Representative Swedzinski, to explain the resolution.
Madam Speaker, that is my resolution.
Is there any discussion on the resolution? I recognize the member from Hennepin, Representative Long.
I urge support.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Introduction of bills. The following House files have been offered for introduction today. The Chief Clerk will report the House files and give them their first reading.
Introduction of first reading of House Files 1 through 25.
First reading, House Files 1 through 25. I call on Representative Anderson, PH, from the committee to notify the governor to give his report.
Madam Speaker, we have the privilege to report to you that the governor has been notified that the House is now duly in session for the 94th session of the House of Representatives.
Are there any announcements? Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. There is a reception immediately following session in the retiring room for members and guests, and the Rules Committee will meet 30 minutes after session in Capitol G23.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until 3:30 p.m. Monday, February 10th, 2025.
Representative Niska moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until 3:30 p.m. Monday, February 10th, 2025. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion prevails. Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House do now adjourn.
Representative Niska moves that the House do now adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The motion prevails and the House stands adjourned until 3:30 p.m. Monday, February 10th, 2025.